Welcome, everybody, to Ask the Professor. I am your host, Professor Ben, and we go live every Wednesday at 11:45 Eastern. So glad that you are here. We're talking all things influence and business, from leadership challenges that come up, unfortunately, all too often, to sales challenges and wins and all that good stuff. So anything goes. We want to hear from you in the audience. So be brave, be bold, ask your questions, and we're going to do our best to address them and get to them. And today we are joined by no other than our amazing producer, Ari Justice. Thank you so much for putting all this together like you always do. And we've got some hot topics on DISC and conflict today, don't we?
Yes, my favorite two topics. One was scary, and the other one's kind of fun.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know which is which. Which one are you scared of, and which one do you think is fun? Because that could go any direction.
I'm just gonna leave it a surprise for the audience.
Okay. Are you scared of conflict, or are you scared of DISC? I think, you know what? I think there are people who could be scared of one either way. So that's actually pretty cool. So for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, we've had this topic on the docket here for a couple weeks now. And so understanding communication styles, how DISC assessment can help us better communicate with each other. It's a hot topic that's in the workplace when you're working with teams and having to interact among different departments. So we got to know our communication style, and DISC is a great way to help us feel confident in our communication style. And then now we're talking about conflict. Why is conflict such a hot topic? Two reasons. One is because it helps us get things done, right? Healthy conflict is such a positive experience in the workplace. Notice I did say healthy conflict. Without conflict, really the opposite is apathy, which is horrible. People just kind of barely going about their day, going about their job, not passionate about anything. That's not going to help any team win. So we need that healthy conflict. And the other reason why it's such an important topic is because if we don't address conflict, right, if we have unhealthy conflict and it goes unaddressed, we lose as a team. We lose productivity. We lose creativity. We lose really good people on the team who don't want to have anything to do with unhealthy conflict, right? So we've got to make sure that we are addressing unhealthy conflict and that we're embracing healthy conflict. And Ari, I think we've got a pretty cool visual. There's some stat we talked about last week. I think we're like, what, $35 billion in wasted productivity. Oh, I'm sorry, $350 billion in wasted productivity. Yeah, I mean, what a nightmare, right? So like if you're a team leader and you notice there's little bits of unhealthy conflict on your team, and you're thinking to yourself, it'll work itself out, or I don't want to address it. We got to be aware that the way it works itself out is by what we're talking about before: loss of creativity, loss of productivity, right? Good employees shutting down or quiet quitting. That's what's at risk if you're not embracing healthy conflict. So Ari, we're talking about DISC, right? Talking about DISC and healthy conflict, and because we're all different styles of communicators. So maybe if you can help the audience, for those that are just joining for the first time, help them get comfortable with DISC, and maybe just an overview of what the 4 human behavioral styles is all about.
Yeah, so we created this little cheat sheet, kind of like a little overview of like how we should approach each style. So for the C styles, they want to see the data. They're more analytical, logical people. We've got the D styles. They move pretty quick. So be brief, be bright, be gone. They want the high points and the value and the results. So that really resonates with them. Our I styles are typically really fun, charismatic, influential. So they want to be involved in the team and the decision making. And our S styles, they're always there for you. They care about the team. So show them that you care. And all of these styles, no style is better than one another. And we always need all 4 styles to be successful.
Great points there, right? And really emphasizing that all of these styles have superpowers that we need on our team, and good or bad, but it's the truth, all of these styles have blind spots that we need to be aware of so that we don't get caught off guard. Super important. So here's what's interesting about this, Ari, is what frustrates one person could actually be what makes somebody else thrive.
Yeah.
So talk about just right out of the gate, you get a room full of people, a team full of humans, and some are going to be thriving because things are moving really quick and there's lots of energy and we're making mistakes, but we don't care. So we're just moving along. We're not even looking behind us at all. And so those D styles are thriving. And at the same time, same group, same scenario, we have maybe some C styles that are just freaking out because we're doing so many things inaccurate,
Yeah.
because we're not planning and using structure before we're taking action, right? So like one group of people or one style of communicator feels like this is the best day ever, and right next door, right there in the cubicle, right across the
Yeah.
same scenario, we've got C-style communicators, C-style communicators that are just going, what in the world is going on, right? And what are the S-styles and I-style communicators thinking, Ari?
So I love the contrast that you have here. So if you look at our D and our S styles, they're total opposites. So that slowness and then the rushing too fast. Like both of those are going to frustrate those two styles. And then same with the C and the I, like too much formality
Yes.
and the lack of information and facts. So for the I styles, kind of restricting their creativity definitely can frustrate them. Again, the too much formality, being isolated and not interacting with their team is going to frustrate them. They have a lot of energy and they want to share that energy and information with you. And same for the S styles, don't rush too fast. They want some time to process, think about it. Think of it from all, Ben, you know this. I do this all the time. I think about it for a while from different perspectives. What if we do this? What if something bad happens? And Ben, you do a really good job of like, hey, we got to focus on the results. And I'm like, okay. And that's the S and the D dynamic right there.
Yeah. So great point here is that these diagonals can come across, sometimes feel like oil and water,
Yes.
or actually sometimes really help create a synergy that gets the best of all the different styles. So be aware. So as a team leader, so you just paint a great picture there, Ari. So as a team leader, I'm thinking, wow, I got all these different people, just different styles on my team. Life would be so much easier if everyone was the same. But of course, we know that's not true because we'd have just one big blind spot then.
Yeah.
So how do I embrace these different styles? How can I get my team to all go the same direction if there's so many different communicator styles on my team? And that's what we need to make sure that we're aware of as that team lead, right? How do we embrace that? So thinking about what can frustrate one person, we got to flip it around sometimes and say, okay, what can be a strength for those, right? So maybe that C style on the team does not want to get up to the microphone or go communicate at another department's team meeting and talk about what your team is doing. But boy, that I style would love to do that. So let's utilize the strengths and the superpowers of each of those styles so that we can get the synergy out of our team.
Yeah. And to your point, maybe the C style doesn't want to go up and present, but the C style definitely wants to grab that information and give it to the I style so they can present using their strengths.
Great point. There's that synergy again, right? So thinking of that. So let's look back at thinking about conflict. How do we cause it? Better understanding what's happening with the different communicators in our team. I think we've got a visual here for what can actually cause the conflict for each style. All right. So this is a great one here. I'm going to start. Should I start with C or D? Which one should I start with, Ari?
Well, Ben, I'm gonna flip you around and go. You should do the bottom ones and the people side.
Okay.
I
All
want to
right.
be looking at you.
So I'm gonna do. You want me to do S style first? I'll do S style first. Let's do it.
Let's do
So the S style is feeling like, wow, things are changing too fast. Right? Why? What's happening? Why are we changing the rules, changing our principles on our normal way of doing things just because of what's happening maybe in the economy or the environment? Right? And so that's going to freak me out. as an S style. Now, let's well go to I style because I'm not allowed to go to D style apparently. All right. So I style is saying, whoa, change is great as long as we can talk about it, right? As long as we can, instead of actually taking action and moving around, let's make sure that we've got the vibe and the energy for the change that's happening. Now, what's interesting is that the S style is going to feel like, okay, maybe the I styles can handle this for us. They feel like there's a lot of energy there. But Ari, I'll tee it off to you, realizing that the C and the D styles aren't going to be as vocal of what's happening. They're going to want to just take action, but different kinds of action. So what happens with the C and the D?
Yeah. So with the C and the D, these are the task-oriented styles. They're
Yes.
going to be wanting, they're not really like prioritizing the people and emotion side of it. So with that, the C styles, the emotional or irrational, illogical behavior may throw them off and are like, well, we've got the data back here. Why are we freaking out about this situation that you're feeling passionate and emotional about when the data says X, Y, and Z? That's going to cause a little bit of conflict. And then for the D style, any delays or lack of action, they want to move quick and fast. And that slowness, again, going back to the last slide, that slowness is going to cause some frustration and then leading to some conflict there.
Yeah, we don't have time to look at more data. We don't have time to worry about our feelings or the emotions on the team. And we certainly don't have time to hear the I styles get excited and try to celebrate or create a vibe on the team. We've got to take action, right? That's where the D styles go. And if we think of like, what do we do now? So understanding what's going through the minds of each of these communication styles, let's talk a little bit about what our actions are going to be, right? So thinking of an S style is maybe let's just avoid this conflict altogether. Let's just take a back seat at this meeting or at this workshop and just see how it all plays out, right? The less I rock the boat, the less rocky the boat gets, right? That's kind of the S style's mindset. Whereas the I style is saying, okay, yeah, this is kind of scary, but let's make it fun. So they're going to step up. They're going to try to bring some energy to the team. They're going to maybe kind of smooth things over a little bit so that it's not so bumpy and not so scary for everybody else on the team. And that both of those approaches might be pretty different than what the C and the D styles are doing.
Oh man. If you look at it, the S style and the D styles are completely different. The D style will confront that conflict head on. They're ready to address it. I've got a problem. We need to talk about it right now. And with that, you could probably forget about the emotional side of things and run over or bulldoze ideas, thoughts, opinions, and that's not good. That's definitely going to create some tension with the I and the S styles. And with the C styles, they're perfectionists. They want everything to be right and following the data and the SOPs. So they may be overly critical and focusing too much on that rule book and the data.
Yeah, and let's remind the audience too that while all this is happening, the way that each of these styles will face conflict, they feel like they're doing the absolute best thing possible, right? S styles, hey, if I take a back seat and not share my opinion, that's the best for the group. D styles, if we just hurry up and just move and just get something done, that's the best for the group. C styles are thinking, no, let's just collect some more data first, right? Let's really get into the analytical side of this. That's the best for the group. And I style smoothing it over, bringing that vibe and that energy. So realizing that none of these styles are trying to damage the synergy of the group. They're doing what they feel like is best. And so as a team leader, it's really all about going, okay, how do I embrace the best of each of these groups and make it less chaotic and more productive? Yeah, big deal. So for those of you that are watching live, now's a chance to put some questions into the chat box, regardless of what medium you're watching us on. And we're here to answer those questions. And Ari, I know you got a couple questions on LinkedIn, I think it was, that came in beforehand. Let's check those out and see what those look like.
Oh, I love this question.
Okay, let me see this one.
but my D style coworker thrives on debate. How do I engage productively without shutting down?
Okay, so conflict avoidance. So probably some S style in there, right, for this person. They may or may not know that ahead of time. And then maybe, of course, we're all are a blend of maybe 2 or 3 styles. But let's just say we're coming from an S style standpoint. So Ari, I'll take a stab on this if that's okay.
Yeah, go for
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so first things first, as an S style or any style, just ask yourself, what is it about conflict that you want to avoid? Why is it that we want to avoid conflict? And we know that S styles value the harmony in the group. So understanding what we're talking about at the top of this episode, and that is that healthy conflict is better for the group. So by avoiding conflict, you're actually hurting the group as an S style, and you don't want to do that. We know that your intentions are to help the best you can. So realize that I've got to embrace conflict. Okay, so once you understand that part of it, the next part is we need some rules of engagement. And this is not an S style or D style thing when I say rules of engagement. If you're the team leader and you're watching this now, if you don't have rules of engagement for how your team embraces healthy conflict, that should be the first thing you do when you're done watching this episode. Watch the episode first and then go do that, right? Then maybe go grab lunch too if you're on East Coast time. So we need to have rules of engagement. And as an S style, that's going to be pretty hard for you to raise your hand and say, hey, look, debating is not really my thing, but I will debate with you and we need rules of engagement, but it's going to be best for the team. So take charge and raise your hand and say that. So having some rules of engagement, what does healthy conflict look like? So things that we can all agree on is it does not look like finger pointing. It does not look like trying to damage the person that you're talking to in any way. It looks like we're focused on outcomes and how the entire team is going to win. So just some basic bullet points of rules of engagement. And again, not an S style thing. Everyone needs those rules of engagement so we can be as productive as possible. So I hope that answers our question. That's a great question. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I also want to add on to this. I was very conflict avoidant, and now that I'm thinking through it in the past, most of my bosses have been like D style or D dominant style. And believe it or not, they want to hear your feedback. They value your feedback, and they're just getting a different perspective from you, and they want to hear it.
So let's stop there for a second. Ari, that is so important because and as the resident S style, right, of the group, Ari, it's really important to understand is that we think that you're not speaking up is going to make things easier, especially with those D style bosses or supervisors or teammates. They want to hear you speak up. They want to know what you're thinking. That's how they operate. So they feel best when you're doing that. So you're actually doing them a favor as an S style by speaking up, which sounds crazy. We've got another question over here in the audience. Iris, you've been on the show before. Thank you for jumping in. So as an I style, I move on after conflict so quickly, but other team members don't. That's a really good point, by the way. Really good point. How do I handle this? I just want everything to be cool again. So especially if you're thinking about, or I'll leave that up there for the audience, but if you're thinking about maybe a C style team member, C styles really latch on to things, right? So if something bad happened, something wrong happened, especially, they're going to be thinking about it and dwelling on it for days to come. I style, Iris, is they've moved on, right? They've moved on a long time ago, seconds after the conflict. So just like what Ari was saying about knowing that like D styles are not purposely trying to get under your skin, it's the same thing with C style. Because they're dwelling on it doesn't mean it's still really a problem. It doesn't mean that, oh my gosh, the earth, the sky is falling because the C style, especially if it's your boss, is still dwelling on this. And as an I style, since you've already moved on, you can take that first step. Maybe go back by your teammate's cubicle or office, or your boss's cubicle or office, and just say, hey, about that conversation we're having, I appreciate you stepping up and sharing your viewpoint with me. Definitely help me think a little bit, right? Notice I used help me think a little bit. That's going to be music to the C style's ears when they hear an I style say that, and that's a great way to mend that gap and build a bridge. Hopefully that helps a little bit.
Yeah, and that I style, you want that harmony. And I styles are very influential and kind of maximize your superpower to kind of bring that harmony back together.
And that is a superpower of iStyles, right? I mean, it's like it's water in the bridge, just a goldfish memory. We've moved on, and things are going okay. So that is an absolute superpower. Imagine if we were all C styles on the team, we'd be dwelling about mistakes we made 2 years ago and conflicts we had 2 years ago. Like that would not be good for anybody. Any other questions we should jump on before we have to? Ooh, look at our time. We are heading out. We'll do one more question. Does that sound good, Ari?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
So
What do we have? Oh, another I. Oh boy, another I style. Here we go. The I styles are the ones speaking up. Imagine that.
Yes. All right. So I have an I style team member that
Oh,
promises to make changes but doesn't follow through. How can I hold them accountable without damaging our rapport?
Okay, so with the I styles, this is not coming from an I style. This is about I styles. Here we go. So with I styles, we were talking about the superpower, and that is that they have goldfish memory when it comes to certain situations. So they move on after conflict quickly. We love that about I styles. Guess what? That also comes with maybe I changed directions before I was supposed to on this project, as well as kind of like a byproduct on that. So a couple of things about I styles. So it's not that they don't want to stay on track. Okay. They're afraid of missing out on another opportunity, on something flashy or something that is going to be the talk of the town, and they might miss out on it. That's one of their biggest fears. So helping your teammate understand that the reward at the end of staying focused or committed to this one project or objective is going to be the flashy talk of the town, right? The way you win, the way you're going to get noticed is by staying on this project. And that'll help them realize, okay, this is the flashy, important thing that I need, right? That's going to help me get that dopamine release of being noticed. Now, this is not going to take away the opportunities and shiny objects that they see. So we also need to make note of those. So if there's something else they might be getting distracted with or they don't follow through with, pull them back in. Hey, what is it that you're focused on right now instead? Oh, there was this other shiny object that I need to take care of. We're gonna write that down, and we're gonna make sure that is a priority for us, as long as we're staying on track for our main project, right? So just guiding them through the flashy object syndrome so that they can stay on their project. Hopefully that helps a little bit for I don't know what style this person is, but for working with an I style and seeing them get off track.
That's a really good point. And if we go back to the cheat sheet, the I style is involve me. So maybe, collaborate with them on this project for 5, 10, 15 minutes a day. Have a little celebration. They want that fun. But while you're meeting with them and talking about the changes that they've gone or the things that they've done throughout this project, don't stifle that creativity, because that creates a little bit of frustration within them.
Very well said. That is awesome. Audience members, thank you so much for the questions. If you weren't audacious enough to ask a question live on the show now, send your questions in to Ari or to me on LinkedIn. You can DM us on Instagram or on YouTube under the live in the comments, and we will do our best to get your question on the show and make sure that we address it. As long as it has anything to do with business and influence, we are on it. We're going to help you with that.
Yeah, anything about personal life, we're not going to, I'm just kidding.
And you don't want us to anyway, trust me. Like that's not, we're not going to help you out with that whatsoever. Other than that, Ari, let's wrap it up so we can get out of here on time, get everybody back to work in the real life. I know we got some awesome music, and we'll see everybody next Wednesday at 11:45 Eastern. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Bye.